السلام عليكم. يا رب تكونوا بخير. احنا حاليا هنستنى بس لحظات وهنبدأ ان شاء الله. يا ريت لو حد هيدخل بس يبعت لنا الفويس واضح ولا في مشكلة، وخلال لحظات هنبدأ ان شاء الله. عظيم جدا. طيب الناس بدأت تدخل. طيب هستأذن حضراتكم الناس اللي بدأت تدخل دلوقتي لو تقدر تكتب الصوت واضح وشايفة الريزولوشن كويس. عظيم. شكرا علي، شكرا هاجر. طيب احنا بالظبط دقيقتين او يعني دقيقة وهنبدأ ان شاء الله اور سيشن بإذن الله. اوكي. عظيم. شكرا دينا، شكرا عبدو.
Smile. Why do you not smile? Just smile. Smile for us.
طيب عظيم جدا. احنا متهيألي ان الناس بدأت خلاص تدخل وفي تفاعل، فتمام جدا. طيب احنا يعني هنبدأ دلوقتي. اولا برحب بيكم النهارده على منصة ايجيبت سكولر. النهارده حلقة مميزة جدا عن تيم يعني تيم رائع واكتر من رائع، يعمل حاجات انجازات كتيرة جدا بره مصر. والحقيقة ان البرزنتيشن هي النهارده هتكون انجلش، فاعذروني، بس ان شاء الله يكون في ريكوردد subtitles بالعربي later on after يعني بعد الحلقة ديت إن شاء الله. طيب قبل ما أبدأ أنا هدي نبذة بسيطة عن التيم مارفلز. تيم مارفلز هو تيم من التيمات المشاركة في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية في مسابقات الروبوتكس والستيم فيلد. هو تيم بيشتغل مينلي على مجال العلوم الستام أو العلوم والتكنولوجيا والهندسة والرياضيات، والهدف منه ان هو بينشر الستيم فيلد في جميع انحاء العالم، مش بس في امريكا، في كل الدول، بما فيهم طبعا اور اودينس مصر والميدل ايست وكل الكونتريز اذر كونتريز. ومن اهم اهدافهم هي الحقيقه ان هم ينشروا المعرفه بعلوم الروبوت في مجتمعات الاطفال، وبيتم وايضا دخول في مسابقات والمنافسه عليها. والحقيقه من الحاجات برضو المميزه ان هم بيشتغلوا مع المركز الاسلامي في امريكا، وبيقدروا ينظموا كل الفاسيلتيز والانستراكشنز اللي تقدر تاهلهم ان هم يتعلموا الستيم فيلد ويقدروا يكمبيتوا كمان في مسابقات روبوتكس ويجيبوا كمان مراكز متقدمه جدا. برحب بيكم. So now I'm like أنا دلوقتي هسويتش للإنجليش عشان هو معظم our speakers now are not speaking Arabic. So welcome to our today. So I would like to welcome our amazing team of Marvels. Actually, Marvel's team is dedicated for is working mainly on the robotics and STEM field, and they have very good achievements in that field in the US. They were able to compete for robotics competition, and one of their main objectives is to spread the idea of having a STEM field, including science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, with all the youth and the young students, so that they be qualified for studying STEM in their later studies. And also they were able to do great achievements in terms of programming, robotics, and other fields. And they will give you today a great presentation about what their achievements and also about their team in the United States in Dallas. So yeah, the floor is yours, the Marvelous team. So you can introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Isha Alam. I'm 15 years old, and I'm one of the captains at the Marvels of Mass, and I mainly work in the programming team.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hamza Ibeda. I'm 15 years old, and I'm one of the captains of the Marvels of Math also, and I also work mainly with the programming team.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Faraz Rahman. I'm a captain of the math team as well, and I work usually with the building team.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Uzair Said. I'm 15 years old, and I'm a captain at Epic, and I work mainly with the programming and marketing teams.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yusuf Hussain. I'm a team captain at the Marvels of Epic, and I usually work in the 3D modeling sub-team.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sarah Sheikha, and I'm also a team captain at Epic. I usually work with the building team.
Thanks.
First, I'll go over how this.
You can start. Yeah, you can start.
Yeah. Okay. First, I'll go over how we will plan out this webinar and how it will go. So first, we all introduce ourselves, and then we will explain what our team is, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and the competition that we're participating as well. Then we're gonna explain and tell you how you can get involved in engineering and other things similar to what we're doing, and we'll give you some resources that can help you. Then we'll tell you how we divide our team into 4 teams that all accomplish a certain task that help build a robot. And lastly, we will have a Q&A session where you guys can ask us questions and we can answer them, or we can clarify any doubts you may have.
So first, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Uzair. I can give you guys an introduction of who we are and like what exactly we're doing here, because it was mentioned that we are a robotics team, but I just want to go further into what that means. So what we're doing is part of a competition called the First Technical Challenge. So in this competition, we are given a scenario, right, with different parameters. Like, as you can see in the image, there's different robots, and they need to pick up small objects and place them on these unsteady platforms. And so our goal in this competition is to make a robot that is optimized to complete these tasks. So we can do it in the least amount of time with the most efficiency, with the most work in the least amount of time. So most efficient, inshallah. And so we can see that there's 2 robots in the field at a time, and they're part of an alliance. One of them will be our robot. The other one will be a random team's robot. And also then we're going to have 2 drivers from our team who are driving our robot. But this happens after a 30-second autonomous period where the robot must go by itself. And in order to build this robot, we have our team split into multiple pieces, much like an industrial process. So we have a building team, which Faraz will get to later, a programming team, which brings that built piece of machinery to life, a 3D modeling team who puts it all together in software so we know what it'll be like and makes custom parts for us, and a marketing team who really just puts out exactly what we're doing out to the world, inshallah. And we will get further into what each of those sub-teams do a bit later in this presentation, inshallah. So now our motives. So why did we join the Marvels? You see, the Marvels is a robotics team, but to many of us, it's a lot more than that. It's about exploring our passions in terms of what will be the next wave in STEM, and a large wave for the industry as well. So all of this, robotics, artificial intelligence, 3D modeling, programming, they're all useful skills which will help us later in life, inshallah. And it just helps us keep united as a community as well. Like, we see a lot of efforts to unite the Muslim youth in different like Islamic environments, but this is a great initiative for that as well, because mashallah, we're meeting in the masjid with our Muslim peers, and it's just the environment is good as well. It's less about winning the competition and more about striving to be better. And that brings me to who we are. So the Marvels, we're 2 FTC teams, the Marvels of Mass and the Marvels of Epic, of motivated Muslim youth ages 12 to 18. And so our mission is to inspire, motivate, and compete to achieve excellence. So to be better, like I said before, in this world and the next. So inshallah, I'll get to this on the next slide, but just the amount of progression that you can see in such a short amount of time really just shows the dedication that the people in this program have, as well as just how good it is in general. And our goals. So our goals, like, it kind of ties with our mission, right? It's not only about winning the competition, right? It's about uniting the Muslim youth in something that's productive and something that will help them in the future, inshallah. But also not just for ourselves. This is a movement to help all the Muslim youth, inshallah, and it'll spread. Not just here in the United States, but globally, inshallah, and that is the goal. So now our background. When we started this 2 months ago, the kids over here barely knew what they were doing. There were some kids who had done block coding in Scratch. They were like the 3D modelers. No offense, Yusuf. Could make some cubes maybe, you know. And the building team had at the most maybe made some Legos, you know. And now, mashallah, you're gonna see this later with our like specific in-depth looks at the sub teams. But they had gone from knowing like a very, very novice level like baseline for that to mashallah. Now a lot of them are like building stuff that is like almost industrial or modeling at a level that is what would have been modeled at industry level, and like programming entire scripts and like basically bare bones applications to run these robot and motors and whatnot. And so now you might ask the question, how did we learn so much in such a short amount of time for how much we did? And mashallah, we've been able to progress at this fast of a rate, both with the support of Dr. Abeda, who is our head coach, and mashallah, he's very qualified for that, and he's helped a lot, and his dedication has, as well as the dedication of our mentors, but also, alhamdulillah, with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that concludes my part, right? Jazakallah khair.
So, assalamu alaikum. As I said before, my name is Hamza Beza, and I will be talking about how to get involved in STEM as a student. So, the importance of getting involved in STEM as a student, it can't be emphasized enough. As you may know, the world is becoming more and more geared towards STEM professions, and starting at a young age just gives you a huge edge in the long run. The most important things you need to get involved as a student are just passion and dedication for what you're doing. With those two things, it's all just a matter of finding the right people and places in your community to push you forward, and the right tools to help nurture your success and teach you the fundamentals of what you're passionate about. So, for example, some examples of these tools would be the four I have on screen now. Code.org is a simple website that you can go to. It uses block programming and really simplifies coding down to just the basics and teaches you the fundamental structures of how to build a code and what code is. Lightbot is a program that takes it a step further. It keeps that simplistic and game-like nature, but it goes even more in depth, teaching you about loops and functions while just being a simplistic program that's easy to get for children. Scratch is a much more open-ended program. It uses that block coding once again. However, they have a huge variety of commands you can use, and there's no clear objective, which allows you to build, honestly, whatever you want, from games to animations to really whatever your mind can think of. And Khan Academy takes a much more academic approach. They have several courses that you can go through that teach you the fundamentals of programming and beyond. But one thing that you notice that's in common for all of these is they take almost a game-like approach, which allows kids to really be infatuated with what they're doing and have fun with it, but they're still learning fundamentals and even beyond, like functions, loops, stuff like that.
So now we're going to be talking about how to actually replicate this journey that we have established here at Epic and Mass. So one of the most important aspects of running a program like this are resources from the Islamic community. Our community has provided us with so much social, financial support. We also have a lot of adult mentors, as we mentioned before. who come and help us out, who actually work in these STEM fields. And whenever we need help, for example, programming, when our members were just starting Java coding, we basically didn't know anything about Android Studios. We didn't know how to run it. So we had our adult mentors who came in and they helped us out. They helped us set up all our code, and alhamdulillah, now our team members are really set in each of their sub-teams. Another very, very important aspect is the Islamic Center support. So for us, we have the Islamic Centers of Epic and Mass who provided us huge financial support and social support with their platforms. For example, Epic has a lot of following, their YouTube, their Instagram. So whenever we go ahead and produce any content, we go ahead and put it on their social media platforms. That gives us a lot of reach, and that allows us to reach a lot of Muslim community members who are in the US and beyond. So now we're just going to be going to organizing our team. Assalamu alaikum. So as you heard from Uzair before, we have many goals. Our goals reach very far. We have a lot of goals for this program. And how do we accomplish these goals? So we divide and conquer our tasks. Our team branches out into 4 main sub-teams, and they're each filled with dedicated kids who are most interested and have talents in the field that their sub-team is focusing on. And so these students, they work among themselves and with the other sub-teams in order to work together and accomplish our goals. And so we have 4 main sub-teams. We have a building, programming, 3D modeling, and marketing sub-teams. And right now we will have a closer look on what each sub-team accomplishes.
So in our building team, we take the hardware that we need for the robot and we put it together. Of course, all the parts we have are already thought out, and we don't just build things and try to find out if it works. We already have a plan, and we build it after we know what's going to work well.
Let's go ahead and show you.
Yeah, and we're going to show you some of the building stuff that we're doing right now.
Okay, so what we're going to be doing now is got it? Okay. So let's just go.
Okay, I will switch. You want us? I will remove.
To the camera.
Yes, sorry.
Just let us know when you have got it.
Yep, yeah, sure. Okay, so
You setting up the camera? Switching it to the camera.
yeah, here you go. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So this right here is our building team. So each of them, they're just going to be telling you guys what the building team is, what they're doing right now. So go ahead.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Ryan Hussein, and I'm on the building team. And so right now, I'm working on building our prototype for our actual robot in the competition. And because in the competition, there's just mainly we have to go over obstacles, but there's a small gap where we can go between them, and that will be give us more speed. So we're working on a contracting mechanism to fit into the small width where there's no obstacles. And so as you can see, the robot can contract and expand, and I'm just attaching the wheels on right now. And we're using some different types of wheels. So these are the yellow ones here are Mecanum wheels, and they have rollers at 45-degree angles that let them move in many more directions than just normal wheels. And then some other wheels that complement the movements of the Mecanum wheel are Omni wheels, and they have rollers situated all over them, and they help with like moving the robot side to side better and create less friction.
Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to the other side. Okay, go ahead.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Anissa. Right now, I'm currently working on our version of the extending arm. So in the competition, we are required to pick up objects and put them on leveled platforms. So in order to do that, we use 2 mechanisms. One is called the linear actuator, and the other is a scissor mechanism. both have different properties. So the linear actuator has a threaded rod with a moving nut on it, so that when you rotate the nut, whatever is on it will move horizontally along the thread. So we use this concept to transform horizontal motion into linear motion. And so we attach the scissor mechanism to this in a way that one end is on the moving nut and then the other end is fixed. So that when the end that's on the moving nut comes closer, it will expand. And then when it moves farther away, it will contract.
Okay. So that is our building team.
Okay. Isha, let's just finish this slide.
Yeah, great. Nice to meet you all. Okay, we are back to the presentation mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. And although like what they were doing seemed fairly simple, a lot of the things are very like specific, and if you use the wrong size screw, it can completely ruin the design. I'll hand it over to the next sub team.
Yeah.
So
can you share
programming
this
team.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, because I see only the screen, the screen of your laptop. So if you can share presentation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stop sharing.
Can you share it?
This one. Yes. Yeah, sure. All right.
Okay.
So
yeah. There we go.
you see? Okay, alhamdulillah. So the programming team in this preseason has made an outstanding amount of progress. We take care of all the software aspects of the competition, such as coding the robot, and we also wire some of the functions of the robot. And as Uzair mentioned before, they had little to no experience with programming before coming to this program. But however, now we are taking it to the point where we're creating functioning codes using Java, and we are making the robot function using whether we want it to function on its own or using a controller. We're able to do that. We use many aspects of the robot to make it more accurate, such as using a camera on the robot for image recognition. And we've made an image recognition model of our own and learned to implement it into the code. We've also learned to use encoders in our autonomous codes and to just program the function of the robot as efficiently as possible.
So the 3D modeling team aids the building team by designing custom parts, testing the robot design on a CAD/CAM software, and finding potential errors in the design. So over here, there's a linear actuator, which you just saw from the building team, which they are building. And this is from Fusion 360. And we also modeled the complete robot to see how it will look like when we finish building it. We also created an educational YouTube video to share our knowledge across the world.
So for marketing, as I said before, the marketing team puts out the face of who we are. We organized several outreach events already. We have board members from different masajid coming to visit and see exactly what we're doing here. And we manage the social media plan. So we have plans for what we're going to post on what platform and when, and how we can get the most engagement from those plans. Also, the marketing team is just in general responsible for interacting with the Muslim community, both here in Dallas, as well as just around the world, on behalf of the team. Also, we're responsible for finding sponsorships.
Okay, so now we're going to be So just one thing, before we do the Q&A, we're going to be showing you guys more on how we use 3D modeling. Just give us 1 second. Come, Yusuf. Okay, so if you could switch to camera mode so that we can show the 3D printer that we're using.
Yeah, already switched. Yeah, you can see.
Okay. Go ahead. You got it?
So as you can see, currently we're 3D printing a finger arm. So we have a grabbing mechanism which is needed to lift up objects, and so right now it's printing a 3D arm which we modeled in Fusion 360. And then we're going to connect this to the building team with the series mechanism and the linear actuator.
Okay, so that was the 3D modeling aspect of it. Right now, we're just preparing our programming as well. Just give us 1 second.
In the meantime, if you have any questions on anything that we've talked about already, we can take them.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your amazing presentation. And I see actually a lot of interactive comments that they are amazed by your work, and they say that like you really that's like you did a very great job in a very small time, in a limited time, and you learned a lot of things. And thanks also to like Mr. Muhammad for all of his effort with you. And yeah, that's really amazing. So yeah, I will pick up. We currently now we're in the Q&A session. So please audience, if you have any comments, لو عند حضراتكم اي اسئله ممكن تقدروا تكتبوها في التعليقات واحنا هنجاوبها دلوقتي ان شاء الله. Also we have a kind of if you want to reach us to be connected to Marvel's team or Egypt Scholars, you can send us on the page and we will we'll communicate these questions later on to Marvel's team so that we can have a share of knowledge for all of what you want to do. Okay, so Muhammad Mustafa, you can hear, you can see us on LinkedIn. You're asking about the video. I think let me check. Okay, so we have a question here from Dua. Like it says, yeah, I love it, great work. Could you list the international STEM competitions that you participated in, or that you wish to join?
So basically, wait, now everything's lagging.
Okay.
The first technical challenge is an international competition. You must first qualify at a lower level, so like a regional level, then the national level, and then you can compete at the international level, inshallah. And that's what we're aiming to do.
Inshallah. So yeah, I have a question here, like for you guys, so that also the audience can be more also aligned with what we have said. So now you're working now you're working on your two teams, right? Epic and Mass, and you're working together in kind of a local competition in Dallas, in Texas. And after that, after you like qualify from this and you won the best, so we can qualify to maybe state competition, and after that a kind of international competition between other countries, right?
Yes, inshallah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so that's just for clarification, because I know some people who are not living in US, they don't they don't understand the concept of how teams come gather together and local and competition levels. Okay, so Nahmed send us a marvelous page. Okay, and Facebook. You have a Facebook, guys, right? Facebook page.
I don't believe we have a Facebook, but most of our content right now is on our YouTube, like the educational videos that he was talking about. So I was actually pulling that up right before, so I can send that.
Yeah, you can send, definitely. Yeah. So Nahmed, they have they mentioned in the presentation, they have a kind of educational channel for all their work and their what they have done. So yeah, we can share this to you so that you can have a look on their channel there. And I will post now the link.
So each of the teams, so the Marvels of Epic have theirs, and then we also have Marvels of Mass has one too. So he's gonna post both there right now.
Perfect.
Why is your laptop so slow, bro? Just make sure it works.
Okay, Ali is asking another question. Did you start from scratch to learn programming and 3D printing?
Yeah, so most of our team members, they only did block coding before, and 3D modeling, I believe most of them didn't even have any experience in 3D modeling before, save for a few. So what they did was they went through, they looked online, they downloaded Autodesk Fusion 360, and then they learned it as they went.
So we also got information from technical engineers and mechanical engineers.
Amazing.
Learn how to model in Fusion 360.
MashaAllah. Great. MashaAllah. So yeah, so Ali is asking again, so how did you manage your time and study with that?
Okay, so basically this is like on the weekends. So what I do personally is I try to get all my schoolwork finished in the weekdays, and then I come over here on the weekends and dedicate my time here.
Or you're just like me and you're lazy, so you don't do any of your work until Sunday night at like little past 11, and then you just stay up and do all of it.
Yeah, but you do the work at the end. Yeah, that's the most important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. That's a great, guys. As I said, if other audience, if you have any questions, again, we are here. Can pick up your questions. If you have any other comment, you want to know something later on after maybe you're not available today to watch the live, you can reach us through the page, and we will definitely pass these questions to the Marvels team, and we will get back to you.
Okay.
So yeah, thanks, Ali.
Is that it for questions?
Yeah.
If that's it for questions, then now we can give a demonstration of the robot in the field.
Sure. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. So I think, okay, guys, just before you go, so please, the one who say us, if you have any questions, you can post it. We will give you now a kind of a demonstration for the robotics field, so that they explained like previously in the presentation. So at that time, you can post whenever you have questions or answers. So I will now shift to the camera mode. Here we go.
So this is our prototype right now. So Hamza's just operating it, and
No way.
Yeah. So in the very convenient timing, the battery died, but
Yeah. That's fine.
I hope
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
fine.
gained this.
Yeah, you can show us like the track of the robotics, the barriers. You can give us a kind of overview of your map. Yeah.
So what you can see here is the main two parts of the robot are these two black hubs that you can see here. They're called the expansion hub and the control hub. And basically those broadcast the signals to the motors and control all the electrical and communication parts of the robot. So without those two, you can't really have a functioning robot. So then, as you can see here, this is our moving base. You can see here, as I mentioned before in the building team, you have the Mecanum wheels here, complemented by the Omni wheels right there, if you can see. And what this combination of wheels allows us to do is, if we would like, we can expand and retract our robot to shrink it, and it allows us to go through this spot in the field right here, and lets us get a lot more points. And then the final component of the robot right here is the spinning wheel, which allows us to move the carousel, which allows us to get a lot more points.
Great.
yeah. Okay. So that was the robot. So we're just gonna like when Uzair was talking about the FTC, we actually have our entire field set up. So we can just show you guys what the field is. So right here, like over there where you can see all the blocks, those are the pieces of freight. So that our robot has to pick up, and then they would place it on those red and blue hubs for the Alliance.
So currently the 3D modeling team is working on the claw, which is used to pick up the cargo. So we're going to attach this with the scissors mechanism and put it onto the robot.
And everything that you've seen here in terms of our robot is, everything that you've seen today in terms of our robot is just for Egypt scholars, because we haven't even revealed our robot yet. So
Getting an exclusive sneak peek.
Appreciate it, Hamza. Appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. That's really great. Yeah, and also it gives a great insights for other other competitors in that field, because actually we got many questions from Egypt, from Middle East, that you want to know how they can be working in that field, how they can, as Mr. Muhammad mentioned, how we can have the latest technology and latest knowledge of technology about robotics, so that you become compete with other what we have now in the field. So that's really great, and that's so inspiring. And actually, I would say I see amazing comments. That's lots of great comments. MashaAllah, that's for your work and supporting. And I hope that this after this webinar, maybe we have some kind of collaborations with other teams. We have some kind of people who became aware of the idea, and how we can, you as a youth student, like high school students, how they can use how they can learn the STEM field and the technology, and develop it, and make great things. Maybe it can be done on the university level, but you were able to do that at that level. So that's so good, and I hope that really it will be inshallah very beneficial for all of students like you and other people and other youth as well.
Yes, inshallah, for giving us the opportunity to present ourselves as well.
Yeah, we have our coach here now, so if you want to ask him any questions, you can direct your voice.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
طيب جزاك الله كل خير. I think that went very well. I didn't want to interfere to let the kids be in charge of this. بس هو انا حبيت ان انا بس انضم ليكم عشان نوجه رساله ان الهدف من الويبينار اللي احنا عاملينه ده ان احنا نبين ان في فتره قصيره قوي ممكن ناخد الولاد بتوعنا من مستوى هم مش عارفين اي حاجه عن الانجينيرنج كونسبتس في سن صغيره زي اللي انتم شفتوه ده، وان شاء الله نخليهم يوصلوا لمستوى اعلى مستوى من التكنولوجي في فتره قريبه. فالهدف بتاعنا دلوقتي ان احنا عايزين نخلي البرنامج ده ينتشر في اكبر عدد من الاماكن اللي نقدر عليها. فهو دلوقتي الحمد لله احنا في دالاس المراكز الاسلاميه هنا ابتدت تاخد بالها من اهميه البرنامج ده، وابتدى البرنامج ينتشر فيها. فاحنا عندنا دلوقتي منتشرين يعني احنا موجودين في مركزين اسلاميين، وفي خطط ان احنا نمتد لاكثر من حوالي 15 مركز اسلامي في الكام شهر اللي جايين دول ان شاء الله. بس انا عايز الولاد دي تانتراكت مع الشباب المسلم بره امريكا وجوه امريكا. فلو في اي مجموعه عايزه انها تتعلم اكتر عن اللي هم بيعملوه، عايزه تفهم تفاصيل اكتر بقى، مش بس ان احنا مجرد بنعمل شو كده وخلاص بنوريكم اللي هم عملوه، احنا عايزين اللي هم اتعلموه يعلموه لغيرهم في نفس المرحله السنيه ان شاء الله. لو في اي منظمه او اي انستيتيوت عايز ينقل الخطوات اللي احنا عملناها، احنا بنرحب بالحكايه دي، وان شاء الله نعملها من خلال ايجيبت سكولرز، وباذن الله يقدروا يتواصلوا معاكم وانتوا توصلونا بيهم باذن الله.
ان شاء الله. جزاك الله كل خير يا مستر محمد، جزاك الله كل خير. فعلا يعني هو بالظبط احنا مستر محمد قال حاجه مهمه جدا، احنا فعلا ده مين تارجت اولسو، ان احنا عايزين في ناس بدات تسال حتى دلوقتي على اللايف، ممكن التواصل طبعا عليه هنقدر نتواصل. انت ممكن تبعت لنا على الصفحه على ايجيبت سكولر، واحنا هنوصلك ان شاء الله بمستر محمد وبتيم مارفلز. برضو الموضوع هم حاليا في دالاس في امريكا، بس عادي جدا الناس اللي في مصر، الناس اللي بره مصر، ميدل ايست، اي حاجه في ايشيا، اي مكان في يوروب، يقدروا يتواصلوا مع التيم. وهو الفكره في الهدف في الاخر انت بتسبريد ذا ايديا ونفر المكان اللي انت قاعد فيه. هم ما شاء الله ناس يعني هم قاعدين في امريكا. في امريكا مثلا هم عملوا الموضوع بشكل ذاتي جدا في مركز اسلامي. في مراكز اسلاميه عندنا مثلا، ما يعني انا برضو حاليا في امريكا في مراكز اسلاميه مش بتبقى داعمه الموضوع دوت، او مش بتبقى ناشره الفيلد دوت. فده حاجه كويسه ان احنا نبقى حتى البلاد، حتى مش بس مصر، حتى البلاد اللي بره، اننا نقدر نوصل الفيلد ونقدر نبدا انيشيتيف زي ما شاء الله انيشيتيف اللي عملها مارفلز. وباذن الله تبقى حاجه جيده جدا يعني. فعلي
يعني احنا حتى عايز اضيف بس حاجه صغيره هنا، ان اللغه مش عائق خالص. يعني احنا حتى في اخوه في اليابان المفروض ان احنا هنعمل لهم برزنتيشن او ورك شوب قريب، بنجيب ترانسليتور. دي مش ازمه خالص، الحمد لله الموضوع منظم هنا.
بالظبط، عظيم جدا. لا تمام جدا يعني، ربنا يجزاك الله كل خير مستر محمد. وتمام يعني، لو زي ما قلنا بنأكد تاني برضو حضراتكم لو حابين تواصل، احنا يعني جزاه الله خير مستر محمد والتيم، هم ما شاء الله مرحبين جدا ومتعاونين، وهدفهم الاساسي اصلا ان هم يقدروا يتواصلوا مع الفرق ويقدروا ينشروا الفيلد والنولج اللي هم يقدروا يكتسبوها في الفتره اللي فاتت ديت. فطبعا لو حضراتكم حابين تتواصلوا تقدروا تبعتوا لنا على الصفحه، واحنا ان شاء الله هنوصلكم دايركتلي بالتيم دوت. ويا رب ان شاء الله نسمع عن حاجات تانية ليتر اون ان شاء الله، ميبي خلال السنه دي كمان قبل ما تخلص، نسمع عن برضو تيمات تانية بدات تعمل نفس الانيشيتيف وبدات تعمل شويه لايك بروجرس وحاجات كويسه زي اللي احنا شفناها النهارده.
ان شاء الله. جزاك الله كل خير يا علاء، ويعني ارجو ان الجمهور اللي حضر معانا النهارده يكون استمتع بالمستوى اللي شافه من الاولاد.
اكيد اكيد، ربنا يكرمك. يعني ما شاء الله الكومنتات رهيبه يعني، ما حدش بيسال غير انهم بس يعني ما شاء الله يعني مبهورين، فالحمد لله. ربنا يجزيك كل خير. واحنا لسه برضو الحلقه برضو بنأكد ان الفيديو ده مسجل على اليوتيوب، وموجود على الصفحه في فيسبوك، وموجود كمان ريكورد على لينكدين. فلو حضراتكم حابين ترجعوا ليه تاني تبصوا، حابين تنتروديوسوا التيم تاني، الفيديو موجود اوريدي على اليوتيوب ايجيبت سكولر. You can have a look again and تقدروا ان شاء الله يعني تبعتوه للفرق، او تقدروا تعملوا showcase other members or other people who are interested in it, can be interested in that.
بالظبط كده. يعني one of our main objective هنا ان احنا create a network to connect these groups of young people. فاحنا عايزين يبقى في مجموعات في مصر. There will be some groups in Egypt, some groups in Libya, some groups in everywhere. And inshallah, they use social media to teach each other technology. That's how we want them to use the technology. And inshallah, we started a small model here, but we will spread.
يا رب ان شاء الله. في سؤال اخير ليك يا دكتور محمد. علي كان بيسأل بيقول ممكن دكتور محمد نعرف ايه المتطلبات واختيار الطلبة تم ازاي؟
طبعا المتطلبات هي الديديكيشن. يعني all what we were looking for is dedicated students, but we don't want them to know anything. Like and the criterion that we set for the interview, so each of these kids were selected in an interview. When we announced the program, we had like a lot of people showing up want to join, so we picked our top candidates through an interview process that focused mainly on measuring their passion. So I remember, Sarah here during that interview, she amazed me. She told me, you know what, I know nothing about what you're talking about, but I'm very interested in learning this. And if you put me in this field, I will be among the top students there. And subhanallah, 2 months here, she started to be the lead of the building team, and now she's a team captain. And that's what we want to put in all these kids, inshallah. But the model that we have right now is that we will have the Marvels is the organization of the program, and it will have so many chapters. So as you see right now, we have 2 chapters in Dallas, the Marvels of Math and Marvels of Epic, and we want to have as many chapters as we could everywhere in the world, inshallah. And the way that we interact is that the chapter makes its own decision locally to train their team, to pick the size, to figure out what kind of material, what kind of design they will go after. And the organization will provide them with the experience that they need. So if you want to start a chapter for the Marvels, first of all, number 1, you need to have a group of dedicated students. I don't care if you are an institute or even a group of parents that are coming together, but they are in this for a long time. Number 2, you find some coaches with technical background. So if you have someone who's willing to work with these kids with a background in mechanical engineering, in programming, in electrical engineering, we will give them the know-how. We will give them the shortcuts. Like, this is equipment that you need to buy. This is how you start. We will even train the coaches. And then the coaches teaches the kids. And after a short while, the coaches will not be needed even. The kids will teach themselves. So these kids we are raising here, I'm expecting each of them to be coaching a team in the very near future. And inshallah, we want this network to spread and to be self-sustained.
ان شاء الله ان شاء الله. جزاك الله خير دكتور محمد، جزاك الله كل خير. يعني ربنا يكرمك. يعني احنا تقريبا يعني خلاص احنا وصلنا لنهايه الويبينار. زي ما قلنا لحضراتكم تاني، لو في اي اسئله او حابين التواصل تاني مع تيم مارفلز فحضراتكم تقدروا تبعتوا لنا، وكده ان شاء الله كده الحلقه مسجله، تقدروا ترجعوا لها في اي وقت، تقدروا تشوفوا الفيلدز اللي اشتغل عليها التيم، والحاجات اللي يعني حاجات اللي هم مين اللي قدروا يطوروها في خلال الفتره اللي فاتت. بشكركم جدا، بشكر تيم مارفلز وبشكر دكتور محمد جدا جدا على يعني من اجمل البرزنتيشنز الصراحه يعني على المنصه بتاعتنا. وما شاء الله شباب يعني ربنا يكرمكم، وما شاء الله ماركتنج يعني حتى كمان برزنتيشن سكيلز الناس بتتكلم عنها رهيبه ما شاء الله. يعني الماركتنج تيم عامل حاجات يعني ما شاء الله ما شاء الله يعني حاجات رهيبه.
انا زي ما بقول لهم، انا مش عايزكم بس تبقوا مهندسين في جوجل، انا عايزكم تبقوا الماركتنج بتوع جوجل، انا عايز تبقوا في كل حته في جوجل ان شاء الله.
بالظبط ما شاء الله بالظبط. فربنا يكرمكم يا رب وينفع بيكم، وان شاء الله باذن الله. يعني انا يعني متفائل ان شاء الله ممكن نعمل حاجه تانية ان شاء الله، وتبقى بقى يعني حاجه انترناشونال كومبيتيشن، وتكونوا انتوا ان شاء الله من الويننج تيمز فيها. يعني اتمنى ان شاء الله.
نقطه مهمه قوي، الكومبيتيشن اللي احنا بنشارك فيها دي هي مش الجول، هي جاست وسيله عشان نعلم الولاد دي التكنولوجيكال اسبيكت والماركتنج اسبيكت اللي احنا عايزين نعلمها لهم. بس هي موجوده في مصر، يعني لو في ناس في مصر عايزين يعملوا فرق ويبتدوا يتعاونوا معانا، هم ممكن يشاركوا في المسابقه هناك.
عظيم جدا. شكرا جدا يا دكتور. بشكركم جدا. واحنا النهارده يعني احنا خلاص وصلنا لحلقه نهايه الويبينار. فرصه سعيده جدا، وان شاء الله باذن الله في المرات الجايه باذن الله نسمع عن اتشيفمنتس اكتر. وزي ما قلنا برضو التواصل نقدر حضراتكم تقدروا توصلوا للفيديو تاني، وتقدروا برضو تبعتوا لنا وبس. وان شاء الله يعني اشوفكم على خير تيم مارفلز، واشوف دكتور محمد على خير ان شاء الله باذن الله. وبشكركم جدا.
السلام عليكم.
باي باي. السلام عليكم.